the fans did a terrific job dealing with the changes that took place in terms of just getting in and out of Sun Devil Stadium.
Right, they did it. I think the construction staff is doing a wonderful job as far as putting this stadium together, because it's a gym. And thinking about it, you know, I wish I was playing in Sun Devil Stadium still, because, you know, from what they've done now, from where it was in the past to where it's in now, it is awesome, unbelievable stadium. A lot of airflow going through there, and I can't wait till it's fully done.
Yeah, and I agree with you. What they've done to this point is exciting. I think of the north end zone area along the concourse where fans can stand and congregate and watch the game together. Let's bring in Rocky Harris, and he can get us up to speed. And Rocky, I'm going to get your title wrong, so I'm going to let you say it. I was going to say Senior Associate Athletic Director, and I know that you've moved on to a new title.
No, that's fine with me, Chief Operating Officer.
That's what I was going to say, Chief Executive, but Ray might have called me and said, no.
No, we got one of those.
Let's talk a little bit. There was an announcement mid-season last year that there's actually been some new things that have been added to the Sun Devil Stadium reinvention. What does that do to the timeline?
It delays it by 1 year, and what it allows us to do is add to the project. That was a $268 million project, and really add more elements to the east side, and we're going through that process now with our architects. But what it also does, it allows us to finish out the West Side Club area, which is really important for our biggest donors. Put all of our attention in our student athlete facility, which is really why we're here, to make sure our student athletes have the utmost and best experience. And it allows us to put in that beautiful video board that will be on the north end there. So it's exciting for us, even though it is taking a little more time than what we wanted.
I want Derek to have a chance to talk to you about the Student Athlete Center, because it's a very important part of the Sun Devil Stadium reinvention. But back to something I mentioned a moment ago. What was your feedback from fans about ingress and egress at the stadium last year? I thought it went really well.
It did go well, and the reason why it went well is we communicated early and often to fans, but our stadium operations crew is amazing. We actually had the stadium turned over to us 2 hours before we opened gates, and we had to figure out really how to pull everything together in 2 hours. So kudos to Mike Chismar and his staff. They do a great job, and it really showed. Well, you know, there are always going to be challenges with change. I think our fans did a great job just embracing them and knowing that they have a new normal and a new tradition here at ASU.
And I think just to close that out, I mentioned the wider concourses and walkways, which is always a great thing for fans. But that area in the north end zone along the concourse, that kind of looked to me like that's a tradition in the making, where people are kind of gathering there to watch the game from there. And to me, that's something, I don't know if that was planned that way or just kind of came up organically.
It was planned that way. We try to find as many open event spaces within the stadium where we could host events on game day, like you're talking about there on the north end, but also on non-game days. And so that space, among others, are areas that we think over time will be areas where you could have weddings, lots of different events, and so that's the future of Sun Devil Stadium.
Well, I know you're very excited about the Student Athlete Center, Derek.
I'm excited about it all. New stadium, new student athlete facility. So what can these players expect once they move over there? And then what's that move like in a time frame, just once that move gets going?
Yeah, hopefully our student athletes don't feel the move as much as we will. We want them to come in when the school year starts and when they get back from Camp T and be completely settled. So we're going to make the move over the summer. They can expect a brand new state-of-the-art facility. Everything will be new in there. Everything will be larger. Everything will be better. It's going to be something that we can be proud of, and it really will be among the best in the Pac-12 and one of the best facilities for student athletes in the country.
Is this something that you've envisioned throughout the years, just knowing that you're seeing from where you started this project back in 2013, 2014 to where it's at now?
Yeah, you know, the student athlete piece wasn't in the original project. And when Ray Anderson got here, he made a commitment to not only make sure our fan experience was great, but make sure our student athlete facility was great. So we added that to the project scope. So what it meant for us is we had to go fundraise more dollars. But for us, it's a lot easier to generate revenue around supporting student athletes than it is just giving us as fans and us as a department better experiences. So that really gave us a new calling out there for our donors to get involved, and it worked.
Right. Well, I think these fans are definitely going to enjoy this fan experience, especially with this new video board that's supposed to be at least a foot or two bigger than our down south rivals, U of A.
You know that. Yeah, no, and you and I both won't say what that rival is.
Yeah, are you listening, Tucson? We got you beat.
Yeah, and I do want to say, just off topic here a little bit, I want to thank our staff for this production today, and you guys. An 8-hour production, the amount of work that went into this so our fans could see behind the scenes and be transparent. from Mark Brand to Kate Janjeski to James Daniels and his staff and both of you guys. This is for the fans. This is for the fans to get an inside look. And so it's exciting that our staff just, I mean, they have jobs that they're doing, and this is something they did on top of their jobs, and I know you guys did as well. So thank you.
Oh, appreciate that.
It's our pleasure.
Thank
you
you.
get a chance to talk football all day long. We're all for
you guys
that.
love it, yeah.
Now, you mentioned the philosophy about transparency and opening things up to the fans. That's been a philosophy that has been kind of developing when Ray Anderson arrived as a vice president for University Athletics. There's been a real emphasis, and not just with the football program.
Yeah, so Ray has a vision of treating all of our programs extremely well, making sure that they're all promoted at the same levels. Now, there may be more fan interest in football than there is in women's triathlon at this point. But his job and our job as a department is to make sure that we don't just focus on one sport. And so you'll see with Ray, his Olympic sports and what's important to him is beyond one or two sports, which many athletics departments focus all of their time on. We're really looking at how do we, for all of our 600 student athletes, make them feel like they have equality throughout. And we've seen that. It's incredible when you just talk about Olympic sports differently, the type of response you get from the community. And with Ray as a lead in that is saying Olympic sports are important, they matter, and we're going to make them a priority. Donors, fans, former student athletes are now coming back and saying, I want to get involved.
That's another great thing. Now, the other thing, and I want to mention this for the benefit of the fans, we talk about how the timetable has changed on the reinvention. What that means specifically in the short term is there will be fans won't have to go through a seat relocation going into 2017, correct?
Yes, so we have 3 years already of this. I'm sure they're happy to have 1 year off. Next year we will do a full reseating of the stadium for our fans, and we're hoping that's the last time for quite some time.
But that's another area where I didn't hear a lot of negativity about that from the fans. They understood it, they knew the reason why, and they dealt with it.
Yeah, and we decided to change our approach last year. We did face-to-face meetings with fans. They were able to do it online, over the phone. So we just gave them more opportunities to ask questions and interact. With these types of projects, especially when they're evolving and changing and they're really a design build where we're designing them as we're building them, the amount of information we get out is never enough. Right. And so we're trying to, the only information we try to get out is factual, accurate, up-to-date information. So we're not getting out ahead of ourselves with information that we may have to backtrack on later. So while that's not perfect, that's what we've seen that really responds well with our fans is they can trust what we say is what we're going to do.
One other thing, and Derek alluded to it before you came on, about things like opening up the north end zone improves the airflow, the atmosphere in the stadium. The other thing I think that's really great about the changes that have made on the north side of the stadium is so much of the area beyond the stadium has changed with the development, the office projects. State Farm gets an awful lot of play off that big sign out there. But in all honesty, it adds to the ambience to have that open air feel, and people can see the community outside the stadium during the football game.
Yeah, it's not only the community outside the stadium, it's also within. Now we have one connected 360 contiguous concourse, where if you're anywhere in the stadium, you can see your friends.
That's
where
a good
before you
view.
got to go down to the bottom, up to the top, every level was separated, and so that really helps too in terms of community building. We're also going to spend some time over the next few years determining within the facility, how do we add new spaces, like a kid zone, and we're going to really look at that. We did that when I was at the Houston Texans, where we had open spaces that we converted to usable community spaces later on. And so you'll see some of that as over the next few years as well.
And I know that Derek appreciates having the increased airflow. He was down on the sideline
Yeah,
last year. Well, I think it got kind of warm down there,
I was
even in
sweating a little
October.
bit, but a nice breeze is always good with the airflow coming through, and I think the fans really enjoyed it.
I thought you wanted me to walk around with an umbrella.
I mean, I wouldn't mind an umbrella, a little fan, something. I had to get used to the heat again, so it's been a while since I've been back
Yeah, you
out
got a
here.
little soft. I know that.
Rocky, the last thing we want to ask you is, you mentioned the fundraising. That's another area that I think that the community has really stepped up.
Really stepped up, and I'll give credit to our donors, really. I mean, we have a great staff in that area who have gone out there and met with the right people. But really, it's a lot of it's referrals from people saying, look, I believe in Centerville Athletics. I know what they're doing, and I got involved. I want you to. So it's really peer-to-peer pressure where we've seen the most uptick. And for us, what makes us most excited is our number of donors. to have over 16,000, almost 17,000 donors, individual donors to Sun Devil Athletics. We know we need to get that number to about 25,000 to be the top in the country here, and that's where I think the next step is for us, is to evolve, is to take and make sure that every donor feels valued, not just the top donors, and then as they have the capacity to give more, they do, and that's really where we'll see some long-term growth and for the department to have success.
So much has been accomplished already with Sun Devil Athletics that we're extremely confident that the next goal and the goal after that will be reached, and with the community's help, it's very much an attainable goal. Rocky, we really appreciate the time. Congratulations on everything.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you very
Rocky.
much. Yeah, we're excited, and I want to say again, thanks to you guys. This is awesome. I mean, we haven't done anything like this before, and you're just going to see more of this. Fans will see more of us opening ourselves up and allowing them to see what we see in the department every day.
Well, we're glad to be a part of it. Thank you. Rocky Harris,
Appreciate it, Rocky.
Chief
Thank you.
Operating Officer of Sun Devil Athletics, and I hope you fans now get a better picture of what to expect in the next couple of years.